Wow, E-King Fight News. More news coming out from the Rigondeaux camp regarding his defeat to Vasyl Lomachenko. This whole situation has eclipsed into so much talk before the fight, and now a whole lot of talk after the fight. Vasyl Lomachenko talking straight shit, really rubbing in the victory to Rigondeaux, saying, it was easy work, the fight. I don't deserve a lot of credit for this because he was such a small guy. As much as that can be taken as a classy way, it can also be taken as very, I don't think he means that as a compliment at all, or to discredit himself. I think that's more of a jab at Rigondeaux, considering he was the older guy and he was the guy that dared to be great, move up and make this fight happen, and to give Vasyl Lomachenko his biggest fight of his career. His next fight is not going to be as big as this one. I'm telling you guys. This was Lomachenko's big moment to shine. And he was a big favorite, and against a much smaller guy who had the balls to move up. And Vasyl Lomachenko really not showing a lot of respect for Rigondeaux in defeat, when damn near Rigondeaux fucking promoted this fight more so than his own goddamn promoter Top Rank, to be honest. And there is a lack of respect, and there's definitely a personal feud between these two guys. I have no doubt in that. But here is Gary Hyde, who, credit to him. Now it's very much credit to him because he's Rigondeaux's former manager, and he did not like this fight at all from the beginning. He never thought it should be at 130 pounds. If he was still in the picture, he's saying that he would have never made this fight at 130 pounds. Never. And he thought that was a big mistake, and that was his main reason in citing that Lomachenko is probably going to win the fight. And yeah, he saw things very clearly. Not only that, but damn near everything was stacked against Rigondeaux. And let's hear the headline, because this is a shame. And shout out the boxing scene. Former manager Rigondeaux will be remembered for the quit job he did against Vasyl Lomachenko. And while that is absolutely true, if shout out to the boxing voice. Oh man, you push turn off, and then you get some other shit. All right. What I was saying is, you look at what Bob Arum did for, let's say, Floyd Mayweather, and look how quickly Bob Arum turned on Mayweather and sided with his new guy Manny Pacquiao, and also he was pissed off because Mayweather left him. But in this scenario, Bob Arum punished Rigondeaux while he was his promoter. He punished him for beating Rigondeaux on air. Yeah, he punished him for that. And now, in this case, he's gotten his revenge in a way, because Rigondeaux was forced to quit. I use the term forced lightly, because in Rigondeaux's mind, he was forced to quit against Vasyl Lomachenko due to a hand injury. That's what he said. But going on to Gary Hyde's thoughts, Rigo has a big heart, but he surrendered on Saturday night. Now hey, quiet. Now he will always be remembered for what happened on Saturday, instead of the amazing achievements he's had in boxing and as an amateur and pro. He wasn't hurt, he wasn't beat up, so there are obvious mental issues there. So he believed it was more psychological why Rigondeaux lost to Lomachenko. He went on to say, personally, I would have never allowed Rigo to take this fight at 130. Rigondeaux's a very small guy, and sometimes he weighs 119 or 120 pounds. He would have loved to pitch Rigo against Lomachenko 3 years ago at about 126, when Rigo wasn't so old. 37 is really old, more so in the lighter weights, and that's absolutely true. That's 100% true. 37 in a lighter weight class is like 44. It's like Bernard Hopkins at fucking 46 years old. And Bernard Hopkins at 46 was still a beast. He was still a beast. But Bernard Hopkins is the exception to the rule. Most guys really don't last past their 40s. And a lot of guys fizzle out in their late 30s, especially in lighter weight divisions. You look at Marco Antonio Barrera, you look at Eric Morales, you look at a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys fizzle out. Look at Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. I can just keep going on. Look at Nate Campbell. Look at old school. So you even look at Paulie Malignaggi fizzled out. Adrian Broner's too young. He's fucking. But now it's funny. It's like Drake. Yeah. He's feeling too young, but he's feeling so old. Something like that, man. Adrian Bronner, man, it's like he's a lot older for his age. And I hope at some point he can regain that discipline he had early in his career. But that's Adrian, like that's completely off topic. Gary Hyde also went in on Pedro Diaz, the coach of Guillermo Rigondeaux. His coach needs to stand up and be counted here too. If Rigondeaux returned to his corner and said to the corner he wants out, then Coach Pedro Diaz should have basically kept him in check and convinced him to keep fighting. Like that whole situation where any boxer quits, they will always be remembered for it. You look at Victor Ortiz. You know, he's remembered for quitting in his fight against Jose Zito Lopez, but he also had that Floyd Mayweather fight before that where he fucking, you know, threw a headbutt and then Mayweather clapped him with a left hook. But you look at guys like Pedro Diaz, the trainer, also trained Hassan Enda, who recently quit as well. So, in a weird way, he's not the kind of guy to really convince a fighter not to quit. I think he's the kind of trainer where he would sort of just, you know, sort of give himself a pass and say, you know, it was Rigondeaux's decision to quit, you know. At some point, you kind of have to have the best interest for your fighter. And it's a shame because Rigondeaux, you know, I'm not one to speak on how severe that injury was. Rigondeaux would be the only one that could speak on that. And a lot of people think it's a fake injury. No doubt about it. I don't want to give any type of discredit or take away anything from Lomachenko because he won this fight very clearly. Very clearly. He was well ahead on the cards, regardless of the terrible refereeing that went on in that fight. Regardless of that, he was still well ahead on the cards, and Rigondeaux basically needed a KO to win that fight. And I'm sure he felt that he would not be able to get that knockout at the end of the 6th round. I'm sure about that. But Gary Hyde went on to say, in my opinion, Rigo's every bit as good as Vasyl Lomachenko. And actually, he believes that they are equal in terms of talent. But Rigondeaux is 2 weight divisions lower and 9 years older. Yeah, it's 8 or 9 years older. Rigo got $400K for the fight, which is, by any standards, a complete ripoff. And he's saying exactly exactly the point, alluding to the fact that Rigondeaux really didn't have too many options on the table. And he was just sick of boxing, fucking him over. And he really just let it all hang out. He was so sick that he just said, fuck it. I'm going to take this fight. I'm going to try and beat this guy. I'm going to take his head off. And it's like the one thing that really did disappoint me was not how he quit, but I would have wanted to see Rigo for at least one round just let the left hand go. And that is a question only Rigo can answer. Because the speculation right now is this fight was a fix. Rigo took a dive. And all of this sort of like it's grown into something else entirely. And it goes back to boxing as a corrupt sport. And in this modern era, how corrupt is it? Has it gotten more corrupt, less corrupt? Is it still like the old days? Because upsets happen, you know. Rigondeaux beat Donaire. It's just unfortunate what happened after that, because it's just such a shame, because that was his real coming out party. That was it. A fight with Donaire. And it's such a shame how he was blatantly ducked after that. And I'll say it, some brother in the comments section asked me, okay, what are your thoughts now? And I told him, Guillermo Rigondeaux lost this fight regardless of a hand injury. I didn't like how the bout was officiated. I didn't like it one bit. I'll tell you, I didn't like that ref. I'm not gonna say okay. I'll put it this way. There was roughhouse tactics on both sides in that fight. Yet, Lomachenko, who even hit Rigondeaux after the bell, and oddly enough, that's the same reason why Rigondeaux didn't get a victory in his last fight, or his victory was overruled, his knockout was overruled due to Jim Lampley. So that's what it was due to. But there was no warnings for Lomachenko in a fight where he was engaging in roughhouse tactics and Rigondeaux was doing a lot of clinching to negate Lomachenko's inside game. And at the end of the day, it was Lomachenko who was making a big deal about Rigondeaux clinching even before the fight. He was talking to the ref about it. So, good little political tactics from Lomachenko that, you know, having a conversation with the ref before the fight, who knows how that helped him in ways that maybe he didn't realize, but it helped him a lot because the ref was on his side. And, you know, it's hard enough to be in there with Lomachenko, but then you have the ref fucking you over when you try and clinch. I'm gonna say this, when's the last time you've seen someone get a point deducted due to clinching? That's all I'll say, because damn near, I don't think anyone, you really have to go way back to remember when someone got a point deduction from clinching in a fight. But you let me know what you guys think. Can Fight News. Was this fight a fix? Did Rigondeaux take a dive? Or did he consider himself to be at a point in the fight where he just felt he could not come back from and get the victory, what would be a knockout victory that he wanted? It's a shame because you don't really have, in boxing, you don't really have to win to get the respect of a great fighter. Look at Arturo Gatti. It's not like he won. He beat these great, amazing fighters in his career. No, he didn't beat anyone really of significance at a world-class level. But he captivated you with his heart. And I would have liked to see Rigondeaux at least do that. I would have liked to see it. You let me know what you think. You King Fight.